Welcome to Colorful Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective, the home of non-working computers, because that's where we are with it.
Computers built at home that don't function.
I had to give it up. I had to give it up and send it in. So
I feel you.
He was already like, I think you're gonna need a new graphics card. I was like, I'm not fucking doing that.
I went my host here, Jordan.
Yo.
Chris.
Hi.
Behind the camera, engineering, Malcolm.
Hello.
I'm wearing the same shirt I wore last week. I have a story about that. So I did laundry. I do laundry at the laundromat.
Okay.
Often I do laundry at the laundromat, and I do creative stuff while I'm doing laundry at the laundromat. So, with that said, I think I left a whole load of laundry at the laundromat.
Oh shit!
Including that load has like 2 of my anime shirts.
Oh man.
A bunch of like April's my wife's stuff, and she like pissed off about it.
I saw a Facebook status about it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that she thinks like it was like a plot. Somebody stole nobody's stealing laundry. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if people do.
I know, but like, it's such
They
a
saw your
weird thing to
Cowboy
steal.
Bebop shirt.
Like,
Did you
were
go
like,
back and check for it?
I didn't. I just realized it.
Just
I did
now,
laundry
right
last
now.
week Friday, and I just realized it today.
Oh,
You think that's still there?
I would
might
hope
be.
not.
It might
sitting
be.
in one of the
Oh.
washing machines, just
It
like
might be.
molding.
like maybe they have like somebody left this and they might come back and get it. You think
Yeah.
they held it for a week though?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Either
That's
way.
a lot.
Either way. So that's the story behind why I'm wearing the same shirt of anime
I mean, it's
this
a good
week
shirt,
last
though.
week. It's a good shirt. And I'm gonna buy more, but I lost a lot.
Took an L on that one.
Took an L.
Yeah.
So first of all, shout out to all our subscribers, our supporters. First of all, I have to shout out a newest subscriber, Jawan McGee. Jawan, if that's not how you say your name, I apologize. I just wanted to pronounce it the black way that I thought it would be. So, Jawan McGee, thank you for subscribing to our
Jawan,
YouTube.
man.
You are appreciated. And we don't have any new reviews or anything like that. But continue to support us. Shout out to our supporters on Anchor, which are helping us keep this thing going and growing. Ooh, look at that. That's a little
But
we
he's not
got
a
a
rapper,
rapper on our hands, y'all.
With that, I want to talk about our first thing. So we're all avid TikTokers now. Even Malcolm is taking the bait.
Are
Unfortunately.
you have one now too?
Oh, my own? No.
Oh,
No, he's on the CFA.
He's
one.
on
You're
the
on-
CFA
okay,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
That's been my exposure as well.
It's been some interesting things going on TikTok, and there's a guy we followed. You remember his name? Offhand?
King and Queen Lions, King Lions,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Lions and Kings are in the name. Yes.
that's really. We'll fact check that if you can.
Yeah, I'm going to fact check.
I
'Cause I got
like how you said it,
I got
but
the
I
quick
like how
Google
you
fingers.
said 5 different ones. So like, let's verify this now.
I think people call him King Lions, but his
King and
username
Queen
is
Lion.
King and Queen Lion.
Yeah.
Anyways, he had a whole segment on, and I didn't think this was news. I didn't this whole time. This is actually part of why I respected Stan Lee so much. He did a segment on his TikTok about how X-Men was fashioned after Malcolm X,
Mhm.
Martin Luther King, and the whole thing was about the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of flack for it. And I guess the question I'm getting at with that is, why do y'all think he caught flack for that comparison or that like analysis, even though it was something that's plain as day?
Every once in a while, I feel like there's like this kind of idea. It's like things only niggas know.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
like
like-
a whole
yeah,
realm
exactly.
of thing that it's like common knowledge to
To black folks.
black people. And then you talk to somebody else and they be like,
No, that's
wait,
not
that's
right.
a thing?
No.
And you're like, yes. I don't know what I don't know why you don't know. And you're like, okay, maybe this is like a perspective thing or a culture thing, or maybe we were the only people paying attention.
It can't be because Stan Lee has said this.
Right.
But that's what I
Like-
mean by maybe we were the only people paying attention.
Yeah, but white people can afford comics.
Yeah,
and
but it doesn't
they watch
fit their
panels
like
and stuff
narrative.
that Stan Lee would be on.
Could you imagine though, like a white person that maybe isn't as open to, you know, like history in a general sense. Watching something like the X-Men and being enthralled with the fantasticalness of it all, but then having to be conscious of what that's saying about like life for people actually around you. Do you think that they would be able to enjoy it as much if they had to be conscious of what it was actually about?
But you don't have to be conscious of it. It's just like, okay, I see what he did there. Yeah. And you can just leave it at that.
Yeah. I'm not saying like neither way, but it's just it's something that popped in my head. I mean, like maybe they don't want to acknowledge that that's what it's about because it would make it less enjoyable for them to know that there were like real life things contributing to that.
I think in general, people aren't very knowledgeable about history in general.
Right. Yeah.
So this is
true.
So this is something that not even the Malcolm X, Dr. King thing, just that this information is old information.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And if you didn't know it 15 years ago, you're not going to know about it now.
Right.
But also, Stan Lee is a man that made a comic named Black Panther in the late 60s.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And it was actually a black person. Right.
But literally fashioned so much to that, right? Because you think about the Black Panther Party.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he did
the
it.
overlap was there, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think about Juneteenth. You know, it's gonna be a federal holiday next year.
Yeah.
And I think about like the responses I've seen to it.
Yeah.
And it's similar to this. It's like I'm like, well, it's great because I was taking off that day anyway. So like, that's a holiday either way for me. Right. I'm glad that the federal government is recognizing it.
Yeah.
And then I see then I see a lot of people celebrating it. A lot of non-Black people celebrating it too. Even though there's like conflicting things going on currently that's like hard to celebrate Juneteenth, but also the things that like fall right after Juneteenth are being kind of suppressed. So it's hard.
This is the thing though, that for people that's opposed, you know, they don't like us to have anything, but it's like just a lot of stuff out against like CRT.
Yeah.
But Juneteenth is a legit part of American history.
Right.
But you don't want that to be like celebrated.
Yeah.
Like that's an American milestone. America.
Yeah.
The last slaves in America were freed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's an American accomplishment. You know, that's not a Black specific accomplishment. It just involved Black people.
Right.
I think that's one thing that I always hate is that America and even the way we teach American history compartmentalizes the accomplishments of people.
Certain groups.
So if this accomplishment was done by an Asian person, even if no matter who it affects, it's only for Asian people in the American mind. And the same with Black people, because this thing that happened with Black people, as if that's not also American,
right?
As if they were not Americans, kind of thing. It's just is like, why are we compartmentalizing real accomplishments that we have, like steps we've taken as a nation in a positive direction?
Yeah.
But like this is something that is, this is just for Black people though. This is not us. This is not who Americans are. It's just Black Americans, as if we're not.
Well, I think like, cause I heard a really good, I don't remember if it was an interview or if it was like some kind of a presentation, but I heard somebody talking about how the fact that like Americans are set, like obviously categorized, like in what you're talking about, compartmentalizing them. Cause like, you know, you got African Americans, you got Asian Americans, you've got, you know, Latino Americans or whatever, like, and the only people that aren't identified by their color when you say Americans are white folks. You don't say German Americans or like French Americans or English Americans. You just say Americans. But then when they're talking about us, we're African Americans because we're not fully American in their eyes.
Yeah.
But there was a time when they were even classified as Polish American, Irish American, all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, history and unification of certain genotypes.
Well, we talked about this after the Asian hate episode because we were talking about assimilation and stuff like that. And I was like, here's my thing. and this was my problem with the idea of assimilation in an immigrant nation in a general sense.
Yeah.
If what I do and what you do, like if I as a Black person and a Black American, you as a white American, you as an Asian American, whatever, if the things that we do that aren't like in the center of the Venn diagram of our cultures, that's not American culture then.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
So
Yeah,
anything that is like American outside of what is culturally relevant for a Black American, Latino American, an Asian American, and a white American, whatever is not common amongst us are sub, like, and it's like white people have their own culture. They have white American culture that's different than Black American
Macaroni
culture.
salad.
Whatever.
What?
Right. But
Say
it's
salad with
like, but
raisins in
the
it.
whatever that core is, that's what American culture really is supposed
Yeah.
to be. It's not white Americans don't create what the plumb line is for American culture. So you don't have to pick a white name to assimilate. You don't have to, like, I don't know, like the whatever people associate with like Americanness that doesn't fall in line with what other actual Americans do.
Right.
That's not American culture. That's not something you need to assimilate to.
Right. Well, I think it's so interesting because, one thing that I was just thinking of while you're saying that is American culture is literally just a mixture of a bunch of different cultures put together. Like even white, like, white American culture.
Our language.
German, Germans, English, Polish, Irish. You have all these, major European groups that came to the United States, and they all like blended together in the United States, because there really is no such thing as American culture in a truest sense, because our country's only like 300 years old.
Yeah, I was
so like,
there's capitalism.
Right, exactly.
Like,
that's American culture.
But large in part, we still making it up on the fly.
Yeah,
most of this stuff.
Because like, you
Still,
think about it, like, what's in American food? Hamburgers, like.
That's not even, that don't even belong to us.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, you think about it, like,
what would be a whole American food? Soul food.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's soul food is
Soul
truly
food.
American.
Is it truly American?
Jazz, blues, those are
and
all ragtime.
Yeah. Like vaudeville-ish stuff in general. Yeah, the origins of American theater are not the most promising things in the world. That history is real. Sordid.
Speaking of theater, I'm a transition. Whoa, that was dope.
We need a transition sound. I got my what are these? My Squidward arms.
I was like, what?
Quality.
Wow.
Speaking of theater, friend of the show, RDC.
Yeah,
has been recognized
as in like friend, like I don't know.
He's a friend of our friend,
right?
We have a show.
Y'all got to
by association.
Hold on.
You gotta get Mike to get on. You gotta get Mike to get on that. Like, come on.
I'm crying.
Well, he's busy right now.
I mean, I get that.
Look, all I'm saying is
we were talking.
He's a friend of the show.
Yeah, right. I'm like, come on, you can't plug us.
He has been recognized by Bernie Mac's daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
To potentially play him in a biopic.
That would be so.
So let's talk about it. How do we feel? React.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, he has the mannerisms.
Yeah, for sure.
The first time I ever saw him, like in any of his like skits and stuff like that, and I want to say one of the first things I ever saw him do was the Cash Money Mark thing.
That's funny.
That's funny. And he was doing it, and I think he was in a chair, and I just thought of the Bernie Mac show, and I was like, there's something about his cadence and like the way he delivers his lines of comedy that reminded me so much of Bernie Mac, and I was like, that's so sweet to see, because it's like Bernie had like just passed, and
he speaks like Migos raps.
Yeah,
he like speaks in triplets.
That's funny.
So him and Bernie Mac do that. Their delivery is in like triplets.
Oh, remember Bernie Mac used to always have that song play whenever he did whenever he hit his punchlines, and he would dance around on stage.
Yeah.
I have a friend that's heavy into Black comedy. Like she's just, those are her heroes. Like she knows every word of every episode of Martin. Like she's that person.
Yeah.
And so she was like, if they fuck this movie up, somebody's
movie
getting
about
hurt.
Bernie?
Yes.
Shout out to Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah. So, but that was when they said that, I was like, oh, if they do that, this movie is gonna be in good hands. But the other part of that then is gonna be writing.
Yeah, true.
Because just because they cast him doesn't mean that they're gonna write.
Yeah.
I think ability's there without a doubt. He's a young dude. He's adaptable. He obviously is good at skits.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to necessarily he doesn't have to do stand up.
Right.
Like he won't have to necessarily do original stand up. He's not a stand up guy anyway, like comedian.
No,
he probably is a stand up guy, but not a stand up comedian.
He's more of a writer for sure.
So I think what you're saying is true. I think the writing has often for all these biopics have been the thing. It's been the only thing that's killed everything. It's true.
Unless it was it was written to be a blockbuster. The blockbuster biopics like Ray and Ali
Tupac
have been. Was that a blockbuster?
Came out in the movies. I don't know if it actually bust the block.
But no, those two were written.
Notorious was solid.
Yeah, Notorious wasn't bad. But those two in particular were written like they're for these like A-list actors.
Right.
And they're written with the best teams and there's all this budget involved with them. So they came out excellent. Even the Malcolm X one is really, really, really
talking about,
good.
Yeah.
With Denzel Washington. Why can't I remember the name of the? Is
X.
it just X?
It's called X.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
so.
Wow.
How old are you?
You know,
Get it together, Chris.
technically, I'm still too young for that movie. But
How?
that's okay.
You were born in the 90s.
Yeah, but I was a little young.
You
to
ain't
like
watch
four.
it,
You ain't
though.
watched the double tape?
No,
Come on now.
The double tape, yeah.
Double
No.
tape. Classic.
I'm crying. No, but those biopics are really good, but they were written for A-list actors by like amazing teams, and they had the budget to fund.
Yeah, we don't
every
want
dream.
that TLC Aaliyah treatment on.
No, you know what we really don't want? We really don't want the Nina Simone treatment. We saw what you did. That was disrespectful as fuck.
Her family was so mad about that.
That is what. Oh,
I mean, for good
don't
reason,
get me
obviously,
started.
but-
The Nina. We were talking about something happier.
Yeah. So,
I'm still heated about that. I can't believe they did that shit.
excited for RDC. Hope he gets it. If he doesn't, it's fine.
Is it fine?
Well, the problem
Yeah,
if he doesn't, it's fine. But the problem if he doesn't get it is you don't pick one of Bernie's peers to play him.
No.
So
Right.
I don't
think they
know
want
if
to.
there are a lot of young. It's a small group of people that could pull this off.
Yeah, I think
That
so.
are like
Did Bernie have
prime
any
age.
sons that look kind of like him?
No.
You know who would play him if he was still here?
Or not
Chadwick
that-
Boseman would play Bernie Mac.
He's playing
They
everybody.
would've turned him
Everybody.
like, can you do comedian
Play
too?
everybody.
Chadwick Boseman is
Hey,
Black
I know you
history.
just stopped playing Martin Luther King, but can you switch it over to
Switch
Bernie
it up
now?
for the
They
one
did
time.
get a British guy to play.
Thurgood.
Could you imagine if they
Jackie.
tried to do
True.
a British person to do Bernie Mac?
Well, they did.
That was who played Martin Luther King
They did.
Jr.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh boy. Who, Get Out guy? Is that the guy?
No,
Yeah, I
that
forget his
did
name.
Martin Luther King Jr.
No, he.
In the most recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, no diss to these guys. But
Yeah, he did Hampton. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I can't remember his response because Charlamagne asked him about that.
Playing American Heroes.
I think he asked him or he asked.
And somebody talked to I ain't gonna go into that rabbit hole. Next segment we get into. Jordan, what is our next segment?
Segue.
Out of the rabbit hole.
We're gonna have a segue right across the
Yeah.
screen.
Paul Blart.
Yes, I like that movie.
It's a great movie.
Don't judge
Mall Cop
me.
for those that one and two are both hilarious. Yeah, so our next segment is what are we reading and watching? So actually to the anime stuff now.
Yeah.
So
We did the color part.
yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So for me, I've only watched two things this week. I'm still watching Yu Yu Hakusho and I'm still watching Golden Kamuy. I think I'm getting towards the end of the first season of Golden Kamuy. I'm not sure if
Okay.
it has more than one season. I haven't checked.
How's it been? Because
It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, it's really entertaining. It's a cool concept. I like it. It's different. You know, it's not the same kind of like action formula that a lot of shonen-esque shows have. But no, it's a good show. And then obviously Yu Hakusho's a goat. So, and then reading. So obviously the same old read Solo Leveling for everybody that didn't see me post that in the group today. Read Solo Leveling.
Yeah.
Lance just started reading Solo Leveling, so that's great.
That's right.
We finally got him on the train. He's gonna get hooked.
Piqued my interest.
More?
Yeah, Malcolm.
For Solo Leveling?
Yes.
Solo Leveling.
I think I could still read, so I'll try it out.
Get out.
I couldn't read good.
What?
But yeah, so
What did he say? Sorry.
what did he say? Yes. So if we can get you guys to stop cutting up while I'm trying to talk. No, I'm just playing. But no, so read Solo Leveling. And then I started reading 2 other ones this week. So I started reading Kaiju number 8. That was recommended. Yeah, it was mentioned by Chris. And then we had a new person in our Discord.
T-Von or T-Von A705 shouted it out too.
Okay,
cool.
cool.
On our last episode.
Nice.
I think we mentioned it last episode.
Yeah. So yeah, there's been a couple people we had it got shouted out in the Discord channel by a new member. Shout out to I think it's the Cool Man 01, something like that. I think it's his name.
Might be the same person.
Might be. So Kaiju number 8. First, I literally from the first chapter I'm hooked already. I'm only a few chapters in so far, but I was hooked from the beginning. It's hilarious. Anybody that's watched like Pacific Rim or like Godzilla or anything that's got like kaiju-esque monsters is going to be very entertained. And then I also started reading, it's called The Player That Can't Level Up. And it looks like it's another manhwa. It looks like it's probably the same person that wrote Solo Leveling or is writing Solo Leveling.
Okay.
Because like same exact art style, almost the same concept, just like reversed. So basically it's like the same intro. I'm only like a couple chapters in deep in this one too, but kind of the same concept. So you start off with, like, oh, like this gate appeared, monsters came out, people got the ability to become heroes kind of joint. And so like you can, I guess in this one, you can actually like apply and they'll let you know and they call them players in this one. Yeah. They'll let you know if you can be a player, if you have the aptitude to be a player. And then you're invited to join the association. Then you can level up your skills. Right. Well, the main character at the opposite of Solo Leveling, where you're assigned a level or a grade based on your power level. In this one, you can actually level up your power, and the main character cannot. So he's stuck at level 1, and so it's pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie,
because he's
from
trash,
jump,
no matter where he goes.
He's trash. And I'm assuming, and it's cool because like it shows that they have players that have unique abilities. So not every player does, and like the ones that do have unique abilities become like these big hotshot superstars who are like frontline fighters who are totally just murking everything that moves. And so he has a unique ability, but he hasn't unlocked it yet, so he doesn't know what it is. But he can't level up, so he doesn't know what it is, and it won't unlock. And so I'm assuming when it does unlock, he's going to become OP. Yeah. Kind of like a Solo Leveling.
Always.
But
as we do.
But you're right, exactly, as we expected these things. But no, so far it's really good. So
nice.
Lance, what about you?
I am watching, or I'm still watching Jujutsu Kaisen.
Nice.
Still catching up on Hunter x Hunter.
Catching up.
Say what?
No, you said catching up. It made me giggle.
Oh.
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing like 3 times.
Hey, guys.
I mean, I laugh because catching up because it's on hiatus.
I know.
You got all the
I know.
time.
That's why I got all the time. I'm not rushing.
Hiatus.
Right.
Super hiatus.
I'm reading Solo Leveling. That's the thing. And I'm still watching my K-drama, Bring It On Ghost. We're almost finished with it.
Nice.
So I'll be probably picking up one of whatever Chris doesn't suggest is probably the next one I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
Kidding. No, I
take Chris's suggestions with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I like it both. I like both sides.
Yeah.
I like the stupid corny shit and the super violent shit.
I feel you. You're balanced.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
right. As all things should be. Sorry.
Wow.
Shout out to my boy Thanos.
Yeah. But that's all I got, pretty much.
Okay. I've been watching Castlevania. I'm trying to finish it. In the 3rd season, I was going to quit. I was gonna quit.
That's when they changed
They
the
keep-
animations a little bit.
No.
it's the same
They
company
keep
that's been doing the whole thing.
hoeing Baby Dracula.
She's mad because Alucard keeps taking L's.
And I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. And so I've been promised that he gets a W.
He
He's
does.
always taking L's. I'm promised that he gets a W in the 4th season. But I'll tell you right now, if I had been watching it when it was out and I got to the end of the 3rd season, I would have never watched the show again. Ever again. The end of the 3rd season hurt me so bad.
That's
I
fair.
was like, oh, fuck this. So I've been trying to power through season 4. I haven't seen Baby Dracula come back up yet. And so I'm waiting. So I'm watching that and being upset. Then I've been reading, of course, Kaiju number 8. Mostly just Kaiju number 8. I'm trying to and don't bully me, Nagata-san. There's a manga that's on hiatus right now because of the mangaka is sick. Did we talk about that last week?
Isn't it Jujutsu Kaisen?
It is Jujutsu
Yeah,
Kaisen,
yep.
isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week.
And I've been thinking about pulling that one up, but I have a feeling that seeing the monster demon things drawn might scare me a little bit more than watching them animated. So I feel like maybe I won't read that one.
Oh, scary ass.
Wait.
Isn't usually that type of thing the other way around?
Right.
Wait.
I
Hold
guess. I
on.
don't know.
Wait. Didn't you just say you were scared? You watched the scary stuff?
No.
The violent stuff?
Well, no, I said I like violent stuff, not scary stuff.
That's not the same
cannot-
thing?
No, not
She,
at all.
she didn't watch
Not
Naruto
always.
for a while because it had a demon.
Oh my
fox.
gosh. You know.
You soft. Right. Imagine being
She-
scared of Inuyasha brother. Like,
She calls
Yeah,
her-
right, exactly.
She
The
closed
drippiest
her
demon
eyes.
ever, and you can't
She
watch it
closed
because
her
he's
eyes
scary.
during horror movie commercials.
I do. And there's the part in Naruto when the little demon thing and he pulls the arms out. I was like covering the screen and just reading the
When he does the Death
subtitles.
Reaper seal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get really scared. And not only do I get scared, I die in my dreams. I have horrible nightmares.
so you like
sometimes.
isekai for real?
Like, I literally
Like,
die.
you just oh,
And I
spawn.
see myself
real
die
life is
in
the
these
isekai.
horrific
Right.
ways. I don't. No gracias. I have a very active
She dies and wakes up in
imagination.
real life.
So I will fall from a building and
You ever
I
gotten
hit
hit by
the
a bus?
ground and I'm like, oh man, I'm dead. And then I wake up. And that's like always what I say when I die in my dream. I say, oh man, I'm dead. And then I wake up.
Wasn't there some study done when we were kids where they were like, if you die in your dreams, you die in real life
Yeah.
kind of a thing?
And that shit is not
Yeah.
true at
Yeah,
all.
I've died in my dreams too.
I
And I've
died-
read in my dreams.
Right.
You've what?
I've read. You're supposed to not be able to read things.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that too.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I've
Yeah.
never even thought of if I've read something in my, a sign.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be able to read anything. Like it's supposed to be like
At
gibberish.
all?
Yeah.
See, and I don't know if I'd want to be able to lucid dream or not.
I can.
What? Really?
I can lucid dream.
I don't know
It's
if I want to be
weird.
able to.
That
either,
would
yeah.
freak
I
That
used
would
to when
be
I was a
weird.
kid and it freaked me out. So
That would freak me
glad I
out.
don't anymore. 'Cause that was scary stuff.
That'd be like on in the Mugen Train movie where he couldn't tell, he stopped being able to tell whether he was
Right.
in reality
Yeah.
or his dream.
He's like, I gotta hit this one way or
It's
another.
like,
No,
I'm dreaming
hold
right
up.
now. I'm gonna jump off this building and start flying. And be
Yeah,
like,
that
it's
was
not
hilarious.
a dream, Chris. Yeah, no, I
That's
die in my
funny.
dreams. I have horrible nightmares sometimes. So, I can't, the scary stuff, I'd be like, what if that was real life? And then I dream about it being real life. One time I watched the Boogeyman movie, which is very, very corny, but I read it as sleepover and I'm comforted by the presence of others. So I
'Cause
didn't
they'll
have a
die with
nightmare.
you.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have a nightmare. I could throw somebody else in front of them and get away, kind of thing. There's always at least one person I hate in the room. Not this room though. I wouldn't sacrifice you guys. I love you guys. But after I got home and I was in my own bed, I imagined that the boogeyman came out of my closet and I hid under my bed, but then he just chopped through my bed and chopped me in little pieces. And I was like,
This
oh man,
was
I'm dead.
3
And I woke
months
up.
ago.
No, this was like 15 years ago.
Chris, I
the
think you need
world?
to go
Malcolm,
there. I
what
think
are
need to
you
go
reading
there.
and
Sorry,
watching?
go on.
I'm not reading anything. I'm watching Castlevania because I watched like
Are
half
you?
of the first season and now I'm just watching it.
Yeah.
Caught up on My Hero.
Hey,
I heard it's getting good.
It's good. The little
'Cause this
class
season has
competition
been
thing is cool.
Slow as
And
shit.
my nigga was on screen in the last episode.
As he should be. Did
Mirio.
Deku give him his powers?
Mirio took
No.
then I'm watching 86.
Oh,
Anybody?
is that good?
Yeah,
I saw it on
No, I'm
Crunchyroll, but I
thinking
haven't
something
watched it. It
else.
looks
Yeah,
good.
it's kind of Attack on Titan-ish as far as like the plot. Like it's
Sure.
about like segregation and so basically the premise is it's like far in the future and there's automated fighting for armies. Like so it's like drone fighting.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And it's two kingdoms fighting right now. And so the one kingdom, I think it's like District 85 or whatever, they're like, because of this automated fighting system, there's no casualties, blah, blah, blah. But there's people manning
Oh.
their drone. Now, the other side is automated,
Wow.
but their side is manned.
They're man.
And like the army knows it, but but society has been separated into people with like white hair and then everybody else.
Huh.
So the everybody else are the people that man
Huh.
Wow.
these
So
mechs.
it's kind of
basically.
like Elysium or something.
yeah, I was like, it
Yeah.
sounds like Slavery Gundam Wing, which is that's kind
Yeah.
of sad.
So, but
Slavery Gundam.
the protagonist is like a captain because because the army knows that they're manned, but they don't tell the populace. Because they're seen as like not people. They're not people, so we technically don't have casualties.
Right, that makes
So
sense.
niggas
It makes
are-
war. It makes
So-
war a bit more acceptable.
Yeah. So the protagonist basically is she's a Philly empathy person, so she's like befriending them, asking them what they're eating for dinner because they can link comm. She can link comm with them anytime, so she's like befriending. And the team that she's been put in charge for, all the leaders have committed suicide or gone crazy in some way. They don't tell you how or why, but she's now in control of that squad where
Sounds
the
interesting.
commanders
I'll have to
go
watch it.
crazy.
Yeah,
So-
that
That
sounds.
sounds
I'd say I
interesting.
might have to
mad.
watch that after Golden Kamui because
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm looking forward to? That I think just came out. Well, by the time this podcast is out, it'll be like out for a while. Record of Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hearing good things
I am
about it.
excited to watch it.
Record of Ragnarok. Like what?
That's the
the-
one where like the ancient mythological people fight against each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
so is it within the Fate franchise or is it separate?
No, it's separate.
No, it's
Oh,
like
okay.
a tournament between like deities,
I
basically.
mean that's
Yeah,
pretty
like
much that's what
Adam
Fate is.
It's supposed to be.
it's like
OP
if
as shit.
everybody in Baki was a god.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Interesting.
yes. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
to
I-
watch it.
Yeah. I've heard good things so far.
I didn't start reading it because I heard it was gonna be in an anime, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Ah, maybe I just want to watch this one because there's some of them where I'm like, because it's like all fighting,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, sometimes with
Yeah.
fighting, I would prefer to watch it. So I'm like, if I can watch it, I feel like maybe I'd rather watch it.
Wait, did you say fighting?
Yes.
Speaking of fighting,
Oh, somebody's on a roll
Right.
today.
all right, that brings us to our main
I wish I could
topic.
do that like snappy thing the little boys used to do in school. Yeah. Never in my life.
Today, our main segment, we're actually talking about fighting. We're talking about our favorite anime fights. And before we get to our actual list of anime fights, I'm curious to see what y'all's lists are going to be. I want to ask the question up to everybody. Why do we care so much about people fighting in animes and entertainment? Why is this such a big deal? Why does it need to happen in order for us to be entertained?
I mean, I think the most basic thing that I can think of right off the top of my head is like the conflict between good and evil that, you know, like obviously because you want your characters to succeed, they want to get their dreams, or they're going to have to fight to get there. In a lot of shows, not all of them, obviously. Not every genre has fighting in it, but the ones that do, you have that good versus evil conflict, which inevitably you're gonna need to fight.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't want us to win.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, I think a lot of the way we were introduced to anime were through animes made for teenage and preteen boys. So, you know,
Shonen knows the lane that they're in there.
yeah. So, you know,
Lean into it.
those type of things always have some kind of, you know, fighting in it, but it does have the good guy evil. It's like lines are usually clearly drawn, who's good, who's bad.
Yeah.
But it's boys like that kind of thing, and that's how we were kind of. Most people were introduced to anime through animes that were made for like preteen boys.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah.
So maybe I can't relate with the preteen boy thing, pero I think for me, it's cathartic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like this ultimate visual thing of like release in a general sense. And it reminds me of like why I like the first time Goku becomes a Super Saiyan so much. Because it's this kind of like he experiences this extreme emotion. He's extremely like sad and extremely angry. And it releases itself in that kind of way. And then he's able to like, I don't know, it's like this like guttural, visceral way of expressing yourself. And usually it's anger. And I think sometimes, you know, kids grow up and they're like, you know, fighting's wrong, all kind of stuff or whatever.
Right.
And then you get to see kind of people being able to like let that part out. I think it's like a visceral catharsis that just
That's
kind
because
of
she
like,
wants to beat people up all the time, but
you
keeps it
know,
inside
there's
herself.
a serial killer living in my soul. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm
She wasn't.
kidding.
What did
I'm
she say?
kidding.
What did she say?
She did pass the serial killer test. She took a
Without a
test.
doubt.
that
No, we know what
lets her
your
know
right.
that
Your
she's a
list,
serial killer.
the last week list. Anyways,
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My crew,
I
Team
think
Psycho over
Team
there. Yeah.
Psychopath. That's
I think
right.
I think
Murking
there's
everybody.
I think there's something to like something all of y'all was saying. I want to bring up the Andrew Scholes and he has a podcast. He interviews people, and he did an interview with Jordan Peterson. Who it is? If you don't know who he is, I don't think it matters. That's not.
great. I watched that episode. So.
Right. I was like, he's famous. That's all you need to know. But they were talking about this common thread amongst all like entertainment, like all forms of entertainment of this good and this evil.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about that same thing in J.K. Rowling. And actually, I think the conversation stemmed from, I think it started at Christianity, actually. We were talking about how Christianity is really a thread through all of like culture for the most part. This thing between good and evil, and how when we see it, it's almost like teaching us the need for good to win in order for evil to be defeated. And a lot of stories also have like this thing of, and I ain't gonna preach, but also have this thing of a person who is similar to Adam. There's always like this Adam type of person who is this protagonist, this archetype, but they always have this this issue, or they have this thing or this thorn in their side that's stopping them from being completely perfect until something comes along, and then they're made, you know, whole or complete or whatever the case may be. Yeah. How do you guys feel about, I guess, that reflection of the need to see good versus evil? Do you feel like that's something that we maybe wrestle with internally? I know that's a deeper question, but you know, before we get to the ignorant stuff, I figured I might ask that.
Like that was
Ignorant.
I think it's interesting, especially when you're living in a postmodern society, because what I think what our culture now or is moving towards. And I always think about like empires throughout history and how they always get to this point, usually right before they fall. But that's beside the point. But they have this
Shout out
kind
Rome.
of right.
Sorry.
They have this moment of more moral ambiguity.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah.
So it's this idea where it's kind of like, what is right and wrong?
Yeah.
And
true.
so once you start throwing in the idea that right and wrong, there are no black and whites, that everything is gray, and not just everything is gray. It's not even gray scale. It's just gray. Everything's middle of the line gray. And you get to decide what's right and wrong based off of your perspective of the situation is where things start to get murky. Only because in that type of system, existing truths exist. Or opposing truths exist. That's what I meant to say. Good Lord.
Right.
So if opposing truths can exist, that means that right and wrong is defined by whoever has the most power in any given situation. So if you live by that kind of standard, that means that the only reason why we believe murder is wrong is because the people that can enforce their sense of morality upon us say that murder is wrong. And if someone else is in power that doesn't think that it's wrong, decides that they want to change the rule, we don't have the right to tell them that what they're doing is morally right or morally wrong, because that doesn't exist in its essence. It's defined by power. Then everything's defined by power.
And kind of by definition, it has to be, because what you say is true and what I say is true, and the only way it can be sorted out is if one of us is gone.
I have to impose my truth.
I have to, because
in order
to prove my rightness, I have to.
And or maybe I can convince other people to think the way that I do, and then we get to define that this is the new right and this is the wrong. So you either need numbers or power. You have to choose one or the other.
Yeah, I agree with it. I still think for some reason though, even though that is true, when you read all these different stories, when you read all of these different even if you step away from the C.S. Lewis stuff, or you step away from the Harry Potter stuff or whatever, you go through all these stories, there's still this need of conquering evil. It's not, and it doesn't. It's not even told in a way that's like, or some stories are told in a way where it's like one power dominating the other. But a lot of the times it's like especially like even in anime, it's like spiritual stuff, or it's like this greater evil that. No matter what we all, I think about like Bleach, and I think about like the ending of Bleach, and how the courtyards, the captains come together with the geysers, and they come together with the Earthling, or the regular folk, whatever you want to call regular. And these guys have totally different ways of living life, different sense of morality, rules, what they live by. Yeah. But they're coming together to fight this greater evil. So like I feel what y'all are saying, but I feel for whatever reason, we still come back to the same story of this greater evil that we all face, even if we have like political strifes and all this.
You know what that reminds me of? There's that you were talking about 1984 before. It's a George Orwell book. But in the book, there's this idea. So they have these rallies. And they have to basically, they're always fighting against someone. So everyone's rallying behind, we hate whoever the opposition is.
Right.
But the catch of it is that the opposition changes in order to reinforce the government's power. It's a whole thing. Oh my God. Read that book if you have not read that book.
Or just live life currently.
No. Read 1984. It's so good. But that kind of gives me that same je ne sais quoi. Is it has that like, it feeds that inner need to feel like the good guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it too, where it's like, I want to like, I want to be the good guy in the story of life, which is why people probably have a hard time seeing when they're the bad guy in someone else's story. It's a whole nother thing we could talk about.
Right.
But that's kind of like my inner need to be the good guy, to feel aligned with what's right. With the people always say, like, are you going to be on the right side of history kind of thing?
That's dangerous because of your point earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
If everybody sees himself as a good guy, when opposing ideas come into play, conflict automatically has to come into play.
Yeah.
So
I think too, like I read an article a couple weeks ago. There was a guy in Omaha that Omaha. For those that don't know, that's where I'm from. There was a guy in Omaha a few weeks ago. I read an article. I don't know when this happened, but he's living in the suburbs, and he turned himself into the police because he confessed to a murder. And he had killed a convicted sex offender who had been convicted of like child related crimes. And this guy lived in his neighborhood, I guess, and he's like, every time I walked by, he was outside watching the kids play. You know, he was always like looking at children in like this weird way. And then he's like, you walked by one day and you noticed he was setting up like a gym, like a, what do you call those things?
Jungle gym?
A jungle gym in his backyard, so kids could be in his yard playing. And he knew this guy's history, and he's like, well, this guy is like a sex offender for children.
Yeah.
Like he's been abusing children. And so he killed him. And he's like, I'm not gonna let him do that to kids anymore. He's like, and then he turned himself into the police. So like, you think about it in that regard, like morally, was he correct in killing him? I mean, justice and like what you're talking about with power dynamics, like obviously murder is wrong, you know? But at the same token, you know, is our flawed justice system does not adequately punish people like that, you know, who slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
So does vigilante justice in that regard, does that...
Is it good?
Right.
Are you saying is it good? I would say technically no.
Right.
Technically no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because the justice system in a way has to be flawed in order to allow mistakes not to be overlooked.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there has to be a wiggle room.
Sure.
Even though, you know, false convictions and stuff happen all the time. But in theory, you have to allow some sort of wiggle room, like for a just in case, which sucks. I mean, but it's because we can't know everything. And if there's no cameras and pictures and things, we can't 100% know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But as far as like it being good, I would say technically no.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things too where it's like, do you separate morality from justice?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? Like those don't have to be the same thing.
They're not mutually exclusive or
the same.
same.
I think when you talk in terms of like spirituality or like religion and stuff like that, that they can fall along those same lines. And not in all religions, but like they can like run parallel. But when you're dealing with stuff like humanity and like a government, that the two things aren't always the same thing.
Yeah. Man. We're here.
I got
real
real
deep with that.
Real deep.
This next segment, which is sponsored by Dynasty Rice. We're gonna get into the top 5 fights.
It's my favorite rice, y'all.
So we're getting,
rice.
or actually, it's not top 5. It's our top anime fights. I just happen to have 5. Some of us have different amounts. All I ask is to give context, even if it's a popular anime. I'll start this thing off with the. I don't have a build up because I feel like it's just so many good ones. But as I was doing my research, the fight that everybody feels a way about. Sorry, I think my phone's going off.
Oh no, that's me.
Oh,
We had an event today at work, and so
I
they're
feel you.
trying it.
I
They're
feel
like,
you.
"Oh, look at all the good memories," and I'm like, "Shit."
Snoke. One of the I just want to make sure that what I reference Gohan versus Cell. Let's talk about it. I feel so many ways about this fight, but it's a good fight, right? It's part of this. So if you watch Dragon Ball Z, it's part of the Cell arc, which is
Arguably
probably one of the
best one,
greatest,
yeah.
greatest arcs in anime.
Yeah.
It actually kind of like this. It sets up pretty much. It sets up Shonen to be able to do a lot of the stuff that they do with their villains. It's how they evolve and how they're like a bit more intelligent. Like, I was just watching Jujutsu Kaisen, right? The whole and they're the enemy team, the villains, how they also are kind of creating these. I'm not saying that just because you create a villain, it's just how powerful they get.
Yeah.
Cell was one of the first villains that like evolved and got more powerful and was intelligent. This fight was great, man. I don't know what else to say other than Goku is a trash dad.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Piccolo, stepfather of the year.
Yeah, right.
But I will say it's one of those fights that we got to see Gohan turn from like soft, like completely soft, to like relentless
An extreme disappointment.
Not in that episode.
Yeah, right.
Not in that
I was
episode.
That was the
arguing with
setup.
somebody about
Nah.
that the other day
What-
in Discord.
Well, so yeah, and so I like the fight. I like the father son Kamehameha wave.
Yeah.
I thought that was a touching moment. That was like the only father son moment
Deadbeat
I've ever
father-son.
seen in Dragon Ball Z.
That's not his real daddy.
Yeah,
Just
but
because he's his biological father.
yeah, but yeah. So no, one of the most entertaining. Even though it felt like 9 episodes just to get to that one part where he finally goes Super Saiyan, and does his thing. Even though Cell is still like great, it still takes the mega Kamehameha wave. What are you guys' thoughts?
On that fight?
Yeah.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
iconic
Yeah.
Anime,
for
yeah.
sure. It just went nowhere after that. It got us up to let us down is what happened.
I mean, the
That's
problem
what that fight is. So I always am a little bitter about that fight because it didn't pan out to be nothing afterwards. But that moment was great.
The problem was that Gohan grew up, and then
Yeah.
like that just changed the dynamic of the whole story.
He became a scholar.
Well, here's my thing, and so what happened in this conversation was somebody said that I can't believe people are mad at Gohan because he's living the life that he wanted to live because he's a scholar.
He lived the life his mama wanted him
Right.
to live.
Facts.
Yeah.
But what I said was like, it's not even that he chose to be a scholar. That's the problem. It's that it wasn't like a decision. Like he didn't ever take a like stance. He finished the whole thing. He becomes this like bullshit superhero. And
Oh, you talking about with the fit? With the
Right, right.
Man.
but he just
Yeah, I hear
never
that.
he
The
never
great
lives up to
Saiyan.
that.
He didn't even go Saiyan.
thing. He was supposed to be
He put a
able to
do-rag on
be
for the culture.
most powerful Saiyan to live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was supposed to be able to be stronger than Vegeta and Goku and
Yep.
all that kind of. He had that type of potential,
Yep.
and so they initially started out with him being like, okay, he is gonna do the fighting thing like his dad, but he's gonna do it his own way.
Mhm.
To then like it just kind of fizzling out. Instead of it being like him, it'd be different if he had made the decision like, you know what? My dad died and the grief of it making him like decide no fighting, I'm going to be a scholar. That would have been like, you know what?
Sure.
You go, Gohan.
If I remember correctly, I think he was supposed to
Yep.
be,
He was supposed to be the
yeah,
next
he
Goku.
was, but everybody
Yeah.
wanted Goku
but
to come back.
they didn't want to. And I mean, Boruto might prove the people right.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think
That's
no,
true. Well,
I mean,
maybe the moral of the story is stop and end it. End the story.
Yeah.
The story's over. Stop it. That's the moral of the story. Stop.
Everybody dies.
Everybody dies. Stop
Everybody
it.
dies. If he dies, he
Or
dies.
like it resolves itself. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with the end of Naruto. There's
That
nothing
reminds
wrong
me
with the
of
end of Dragon Ball.
The meme.
It would,
where-
yeah. If it
the
ended,
meme where it's like, I'm a strong black woman, and
it's
Goku
like-
pops up in the background.
yeah, that meme is amazing. By the way.
That's a TikTok challenge now too.
That-
Everybody's
yeah.
like, you put strong in front of something, and they hear Goku knocking on the door. Hey, it's
Yeah,
me, it's
they're
Goku.
like-
Oh, you know what I love?
People are like, what the hell?
those are great too.
They do
amazing.
a One Piece one too, where it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
you just become a warlord, and it's like,
Here comes Luffy for your
Right.
Luffy for your reputation.
Oh man,
I don't even have the One Piece, bro. What's up?
right. So that's my first one. Gohan versus Cell. Who's next?
I can go next.
Okay.
Go ahead. We just go in
I'm
this
gonna pick.
direction, I guess.
I'm gonna pick a new
Okay.
anime. So the Jujutsu Kaisen fight between the flower thing
Yeah.
and the brothers. Everything about that fight is amazing. And the reveal of what am I gonna call him? I feel like I just want to call him brother. Cause that's his thing. Anyway, the reveal
Type
of
girls
brothers'
you like,
power.
man.
Oh, did you
That guy-
hear that?
Yeah.
The edit
funny.
of the dub instead of saying Jennifer Lawrence, he says Meg the Stallion, which I was like, that makes
That is
more
top
sense.
tier.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's
But
top
I was
tier.
like, that'd be more accurate because I was like, ass Jennifer Lawrence.
What ass?
I mean,
I mean, more than none.
for that spectrum.
You're right.
You know what
I mean, if
That's-
we're
I was
if we're
like-
on a spectrum
But if
of
you
like
was talking
plank
about
to like
thick,
Yeah.
though, I was like, thick.
Chris,
But
Chris,
I'm
you don't want to
nigga
get us
too, though,
canceled
so-
objectifying
Yeah,
women
okay,
on our
I'm sorry.
podcast. How's the woman going to objectify women on our podcast?
I know, right?
Am I objectifying? I am.
Or just being objective.
She is objectively thick. This shit.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, but that fight is really very good, and
That
and
was really
even
good, too.
like seeing the
Yeah.
villain start to come into themself itself.
Yeah, it is a cursed spirit, so it's not.
Yeah,
It don't gotta have a
really gotta
gender,
do it, right?
like, it's
Seeing
fine.
seeing it come into itself and like start to like really enjoy the thrill of the fight, kind of like gets you hyped as a viewer too, because you're like, oh shit, and then they stopped it. But there's
Yeah.
Man. Anyways, that was a good one. That was a
that's
really good one.
fight. That's a new one in there. I felt like I should.
Nice,
Jujutsu Kaisen
nice.
has good fights in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
does.
does.
Yeah, Malcolm.
All right, I'm next. I'm gonna go with a. You know what? I'm not gonna take it right now. I'm gonna go with a recent classic. Is Sasuke and Naruto versus
Momoshiki.
Momoshiki.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
and
it's a great
specifically
I watched that
the
fight, like,
anime
once a
version.
quarter.
Yeah.
Not the series, the anime series version, not
Yeah,
the
not
movie,
the movie.
not
yeah.
the movie version.
Yeah.
Cause man, that was done
Shit.
The fight
well.
was so good.
Oh my gosh.
That was
I'm
done
still
well.
like, who choreographed that?
I forgot, but he's like
They're
into
amazing.
Tai
man.
Chi,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Cause Naruto's hands in that fight,
Man,
like, oh my god,
switching places with the
Yeah.
Rinnegan and all that. Oh my goodness.
that fight's so
Oh
good.
man.
Yeah, I
that
watch
fight's
that
amazing.
fight once a quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Whenever the mood strikes me.
Right.
yeah, that's a great fight.
Yeah,
I just
that's a
good
good-ass
yesterday actually.
Did you?
Came up on my
I
YouTube.
do miss being on social media because it would just pop up sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sit and watch this whole
That's the
thing.
that's
right
the only
now.
thing I like about Facebook is they give me random anime and comic book tidbits.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
great.
true.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for this, but it's great. Government is watching.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, right. Big brother.
Right.
Okay, you sorry, are you done?
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay,
done.
cool.
Yeah.
Are you finished or are you done?
Go say it no more.
Put some
I
respect.
am going. I have so many. I got. All right, I'll pick this one. So one that is like a fantastic fight is Netero versus the Ant King in Hunter x Hunter.
Ooh, yeah.
It's a good ass
That's a
fight.
That
good
is.
It's a
fight.
good ass fight. Because the crazy thing is, you have obviously you have the leader of the Guild of Hunters,
Mhm.
who is like hands for
That was
days,
so
grandpa.
sad, too.
And he literally like everything, like this man summoning Buddha and like he like he anybody else but the Ant King would have been clapped way early in that fight. But the Ant King is like the fact that they got him to just stop fighting is the only thing that saved all of them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if he would have continued, he literally would have murked any hunter, like all of them.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, that was a great fight.
Yeah.
Such a great fight. One of my favorites.
Awesome.
That one's really good.
Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome.
Lance.
Back to me. Oh, great. Now I get to warm it up. Let's see. I'm gonna pick one of my AOT ones first, and this is a funny one. I have Aaron versus Marley.
The nation of Marley.
And more specifically, a town in Marley that he decides to terrorize.
The peasantry.
because he has
full Napoleon.
right,
Right.
because he can, and nobody can stop him. And even when people try to stop him,
It's not successful.
it's like you're right. It's like he's playing like straight up boxing, and then he's like playing chess at the same time. It's like MMA fighting and chess because he knows that all of his whole homies is gonna back him up no matter what he does, right or wrong.
He's a mixture of Conor McGregor and Muhammad Ali. Like
and he went like for like full jihad on the entire Marley without dying.
Right.
It was a great because I laughed during that scene. I probably shouldn't have laughed during that scene. I just like this dude. They have.
Yeah, I mean,
no way they're gonna.
You gotta laugh when Tiber's all twisted up in there.
Yeah, right. You're like, yeah, they're coming.
I was like, is that his leg? Is not? That's not right.
All of that. Right. And then with
he was like, he was giving this amazing speech. Everyone's like, yeah, we
Yeah.
love you guys.
Crunched.
No,
It's
that was
horrifying.
Yeah.
so. Yeah, that was my. I have another
That's a
ALT
great
one, but I just thought that would
That's
gave me the
fine.
most
That's a great
joy when I
Yeah.
saw it.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good
funny.
Yeah, I think that was a cathartic release.
Yeah.
when he just destroyed, like you said
Yep.
before, when he just destroyed that whole town square. Because
Yeah, and
Like-
all their fave Titans. Like
exactly. They thought it was sweet too. They thought they were gonna take him.
What's
and-
funny though is Aaron thought he was getting the one up on the Warhammer Titan,
Yeah.
punching her
Yeah.
face like that. And he was like,
Yeah. Right.
"That's not where it is, bruh."
Yeah.
I'll go another one that's more of a massacre than a fight. My boy Gone and
Oh, versus Pito.
yeah, Gone and Pito. That shit felt good to watch.
Yeah.
That shit felt amazing to watch. Because if you don't know, Gone finally he is told and like lets it live in his brain that Kit's like dead. Sorry. I don't know if I'm spoiling. I apologize.
you are spoiling, but it's okay.
You are spoiling.
It's okay.
But
Heavy
in
spoiler.
any case, I mean, there's more to the season after that. I mean,
Right.
Is
the
there?
York New,
And I mean, it's like a
York New happens before that, doesn't it?
Yes, that's the end, Chris.
It's not the end. They still have the.
It's like 6 episodes after that.
No, because they still have the election and stuff. They do. Well, he just was talking about the anyway.
Lance, if you didn't know
y'all
they have
live.
an election for something.
Well, he just mentioned the fight where. Oh wait, no, that wasn't you. That was you.
That
Yeah.
was not me. That was the other
Oh,
black guy.
so
in the
then we
room.
both spoiled you. So I don't feel as bad. Anyway, this fight's amazing because he has realization that his nigga is dead and he loses his shit. And it's the moment where you realize that Gone is actually more powerful than all the people he's been hanging around, that he's been for play, and this is for serious now. And so
Fight people with
he
fishing poles.
decides like I'ma go hard on this bitch because she killed my nigga. And actually I think Pito is a guy. Never mind. It's a very ambiguous
I
character.
know they
design.
do that all the time. in
Yeah,
Hunter x
yeah.
Hunter. But-
Yeah,
Anyway, he murked the shit out of this out of this.
And like he even
character
horrified
is-
Killua. Killua was like,
Killua was like, God,
this man's a cold-blooded
Yeah.
assassin, and even he was like, yo.
right. He was like, dude, stop. She's
Right.
dead.
Chill
She's
out, bro.
dead.
Chris, you gonna tell Lance any more about the story?
I'm just saying I like this fight a lot because
I mean,
it
to
felt
be
good.
fair, it's like a
Felt good.
30-year-old story at this point, so.
But it came out in 2011.
I mean, the anime
No,
did.
I
The
mean,
second
the
version of
Well,
the
the
anime.
second version
yeah.
came out in 2011.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, that's still 10 years old, so.
I'm not 10 years old.
I'm crying.
Are you a leap year baby?
That was great. It's great.
I
That's a good
I
ass
like that
fight.
fight because throughout the series they kind of they don't define Gon as a good or bad really.
right.
Yeah,
and
I've
that
talked about
and that
before.
fight kind of shows that he's kind of an ambiguously
Yeah.
like he's morally ambiguous. He's
Yeah.
going basically from adventure to adventure. There's
Yeah.
no real moral compass
Yeah.
to.
It's letting that moment live.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between him and that. That's the sole difference between him and Yu Yu Hakusho. Where Yu Yu Hakusho is good versus evil. This is not. This is you're right. Yu Yu Hakusho is good versus evil, and here this is not at all.
Yeah,
This is
nothing
just like,
about Hunter x Hunter has like a it's not necessarily that these people are bad and these people are good. It's more of like what if what you do, right or wrong, affects another person, that there is consequence for it.
It is
Yeah.
I think about moral relativism. Because got up. Oh, how far are you?
not far.
I
It
mean,
don't matter. We spoiled the shit out of him right now.
Okay, because Gon get upset when the when the one dude gets mad because his friend died, and they're supposed to be bad guys. He's like, y'all kill people,
Right.
but
Oh,
you
yeah.
mad when your guy died?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
That
He's
make,
like, that's
make it make
stupid.
sense.
Yeah.
And
Right.
with the,
Like keep it street.
and with the Ant King fight, it's like
Yeah.
he liked the girl, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
like, "Well,
Yeah.
what do I do with this now?" Like,
right.
So it's about the more like relativism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
see-
I like it like even with the way he writes the Phantom Troop, even
Yeah.
though you know like Killua or not Killua, golly, Kurapika has like a vendetta against them because of what they did to his people.
Yeah.
Les doesn't have to watch any of it now.
Sorry.
Man, maybe we should change
Are y'all
gears
talking
here.
about the fight still?
That's another
Malcolm,
good
what is
fight.
your next fight?
Sorry.
That is a good fight. I'm not gonna say it though.
Okay.
Color folk and
That's a
spoilers.
good-
Yeah,
Color
without a
Focus
doubt.
spoiler.
Without a doubt. Malcolm, what is your next pick?
I think I'm gonna stay on the Naruto route.
Mm.
Killer Bee versus Sasuke and Kara.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
He was wrecking him.
He really was.
Bro,
really
Sas-
was.
He was like-
Sasuke was
he
always
needed
like,
that L, bro.
I
Yeah.
can fight anybody.
He
And
needed-
was like,
he needed
nigga,
And Killer Bee
you
was
can't beat this
kind of a
goofy
joke
nigga.
character
Right.
up until
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no.
Everybody's
Oh,
making fun of his
yes.
raps. I was like, come on,
Yes.
bro.
And he was like, and this nigga put out 8 swords.
Yeah, right. We was like, all right, come on.
It
now.
was just,
And then
Yes.
you
Like,
just
are
Man.
you
clap
holding that
Sasuke, right?
behind your knee?
man,
Right.
like
How?
Come on, bro.
Kitted up.
wrecking him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
That's,
fight.
that's a good
Yes.
fight for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pick another one. I have a couple other Rudo ones on here, but I'm gonna go in a different direction. So one of my favorite ones is Kenshin versus Shishio at the end of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yes.
Or-
Okay.
Talk about a king.
So, yeah, that is a dope fight because you
Yeah.
have kind of that. Obviously, it comes to a head because you have that whole. Because we're talking about obviously the morality and everything. Because
Right.
Kenshin's oath to never kill again. But obviously, you have this guy who is literally like, he's him. He's him without that vow. He is a cold-blooded assassin who can't nobody touch. And I mean, literally, the government tried to kill this dude like 4 different times. They burned him alive, and he survived.
Mm.
And that's and so like you have this idea that, hey, if you let this guy go free, he's literally gonna kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna kill everybody you love. He's gonna kill everything.
Did you
He's
hear
never
that,
gonna stop
Batman?
hunting you. Right, exactly. Come on, Batman. Taking hella L's because you let people live. But no, it's a fantastic fight, but then also it's just a fantastic cap on the end of the story because like it's a great fight. Leading up to that fight is dope. You have a lot of like smaller fights, like when he fights that Flash Step kid.
Yeah. Oh,
that's a good ass fight too.
For real, for
real. So like you have all these different fights leading up to that fight, and then like it's just a super great climax to the show. So
yeah,
it's a dope fight.
Yeah. Talk about it. Oh man. Speaking of favorite fights, my next one is a popular favorite, Bleach. You don't watch Bleach?
I haven't watched it yet.
That's fine. I'm gonna spoil it for you anyways.
Y'all have talked about Bleach so much that I technically, y'all have
but you're
spoiled
not
it
currently
already.
watching it.
That's true. But I'm not alone. He did it first, and then I kind of roped you into it. So we're all sorry. Lance.
I mean, but that's my reputation. I'm the spoiler guy. So.
Right.
I haven't ruined the end of AOT yet.
I've come to accept it.
You
haven't read that yet? Come on, bro.
I'm just now reading Solo Level.
Come on,
what do you want me to do?
There's like literally only a couple of chapters left in AOT that you have to read, bro.
That's okay. What's your next one?
Yeah, alright, go.
My next one, Ichigo versus Aizen in Bleach.
Yes.
The very last fight of the only part that only
arc
matters.
Yeah.
Only arc that matters.
They should have ended the
entire
story
show.
there, yeah.
Right. And the reason why it's unique is because Ichigo, the main protagonist, like for the lack of, and I talked about this before on this pod, but the reason that it is so interesting to me is because Ichigo is not that talented. He's not that skilled. He's not that nice. Like he has a great ability and he's learning, but in no point of the show do you see him like at a disciplined level. Right. Like where you talked about Rurouni Kenshin. The thing about Rurouni Kenshin is that he was extremely disciplined.
Yeah, exactly.
Turning on at any moment. And Ichigo's still trying to figure out how to do that throughout the entire show because he's wrestling with literally like an inner demon.
Well, because he gets a new power every other episode too. So.
Right. And he never masters it. And so at the end, he realizes why he never really masters it. When he masters it, and I ain't gonna spoil that. But it's a really sentimental moment. So he's OP. He's like it's crazy. This guy's moving all over the place. He's top to bottom, left and right. And the guy who nobody knew how to beat, this Aizen guy who's also like this mastermind who's like literally created beings powerful enough to rival the good guys. He's like going toe to toe with him. It's not even close. It's just like pew, 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 pew. And he's like, what is going on here? Must stop. But anyways, a really good fight to watch.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
And it was shorter than I thought it would be for the build up, but I still thought it was good. So yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which one I should do next. It'd be helpful if I wrote them down. I'm gonna do One Piece, and this is not my favorite moment from One, because my favorite moment from One Piece is the punching of the Celestial. But my favorite fight, and this is more my favorite fight because of the feels, is Luffy versus Leopard Boy.
Oh yeah, Rob Lucci. That's on my list.
Fuck that
Damn,
fight.
you stole mine.
I felt everything during that fight, and I was just like,
it's fantastic.
He was like, they're all over at the sea. Oh, the end of it, and I was like, Luffy, get up. Oh man, I was like, a lot of times Shonen don't really like get me there like emotionally or whatever. I watch them because they don't, but that fight was like. Fight. And there was so much thrown into it because like Luffy was going through it with Usopp at the time. And
I'm gonna do something really unprofessional. I'm gonna take a bathroom break. Keep talking.
Okay. Robin had just decided that she didn't want to die anymore. Like it was so like that whole fight like just gives you so many emotions. And I was like, shit. And it's like, it's not like the most beautifully animated fight in the world, for sure. A lot of the fights in One Piece, I think, get you there more because of like the emotion and the scenario and the storytelling than they do for like the animation of them until recently, because the Wano arc animation has been fire. But that fight in particular, I felt it. And I was like rooting for him. And then the end of it, and I was like, oh my God, let me get out. You did it. You did what you were trying to do. So I like that fight a lot.
Good choice.
I'm tearing up thinking about it. Go on.
Okay. My fight is gonna be from a movie called Sword of the Stranger.
Nice.
Quick synopsis. The movie is basically about Japan has the Japanese government allow the Chinese to do some ritual sacrifice every so often on Japanese land. So it's like some weird like child sacrifice thing. In the next victim of the ritual ends up with this stranger, Japanese swordsman. And so when the Chinese soldiers come and hunt the boy down, it's he takes out the soldiers, and then like their captain, who's a blonde-haired Chinese man,
make it make sense.
Their first fight is really good. Like it's super animated super well, and just the moves are good, and then it ends kind of drawish. So it's kind of set up like, they're gonna meet further down the road and clash again. But the fight is super well choreographed. The animation is super well done. So
nice, good choice. My next one is going to be the first time that Mugen and Jin fight in Samurai Champloo.
Yes.
Because first of all, it's a well choreographed fight, but it's also hilarious.
It's top tier.
Yeah, for sure. Because from that point on, they just like totally hate each other's guts,
right?
And it's hilarious and it's great because like their sword style, their swordsmanship is so different. And like Jin has like this little superiority complex,
right?
Because he's actually a real swordsman in his opinion, and Mugen, is just like a street thug basically to him. And Mugen is like, swords, man, I'm gonna kick you upside your head, like,
right?
You better watch the feet, bruh.
Brazilian kick dance on you,
yeah,
bruh.
Exactly, bro. So that's a fantastic fight. Pretty much all of the fights in Samurai Champloo are great.
Yeah, because they set them up really well.
Yeah,
and then they compose
they're well
them
choreographed.
Really well.
Music is fire.
Yeah. Mine's is from one of my tops. One of the shirts I lost. Spike versus Vicious.
Oh no, not the Cowboy Bebop shirt.
Okay.
Good choice.
You lost the Cowboy Bebop. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, you still should go back and see if it's there.
Don't worry, I will, but we'll see.
You're definitely gonna have to rewash it. That load though.
Oh, without a doubt. But it smells like West Dallas right now. 9 times out of 10.
It's that Brookfield well water.
All that to say is Spike versus Vicious, really good fight, really good build up. So much happens in this show within a short period of time, but it feels like a lot. Like it feels like a long time, but it's just not a long show. Like in comparison to the other shows we're talking about, like Naruto or like One Piece.
I still have not finished Cowboy Bebop.
But you caught up on One Piece. What's wrong with that?
I don't want my heart broken. But go on.
Watch it. But that
is this particular fight I don't want to see.
What's Spike? Right, because Spike and Vicious, they used to be homies back when Spike was in the streets and they was in the streets together.
He belonged to the streets.
They belonged to the streets, quite literally. And Spike switched sides and Vicious has been hunting them down ever since. And then we finally see this moment culminate after some very important thing happens Again, not going to spoil it because I care about the
You
people that
can
want to
spoil
watch.
it. I know basically
show.
how the end happens, and that's why I don't want to watch it.
But it's
Just
great.
rip the Band-Aid off, Chris. Just watch it.
Oh,
Yeah.
There, I have
It's
a couple
one
of
episode.
episodes like that. I haven't watched the end of Elfin Lied. I haven't watched the end.
You didn't watch
of-
the end of Elfin
No, I
Lied?
didn't. I saw where it was going, and I was like, nope. I didn't watch the end of Assassination Classroom.
Come on.
I haven't watched the end of Anahana. I can't do
You
it.
can watch. You can do Cowboy Bebop though. Yeah, you can do that.
You should.
Yeah. What's your
You're
next
doing
one?
yourself a disservice.
Yes.
You're doing the story's creator a disservice
Yeah.
by not finishing
I
Big
know.
that
facts.
story.
Big
It's
facts.
disrespectful.
Well, my next fight is something much more lighthearted. It's One Punch Man.
Okay.
One, I love every single one of Garu's fights.
Who?
All of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Every fight in One Punch Man, even though it's the season where the animation, has some trouble. I love every single Garu fight in that season. They're all so good. The fight though that I'm picking of his, because you could pick anyone, is the one where he's protecting the little boy in the shed
Yeah.
against all the
It's good.
heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this shit's so fuck. And like how he gets himself out of that shit, and then it's like he gets himself out of that, and he's like fighting back to back. He's had no rest. He's had no time to recuperate or anything. He's just like fighting niggas.
Well,
I'm
and he
like,
got punched through a wall by Saitama
golly.
too.
Yeah, he did. But it's like that particular fight, and you like feel that so much because you start to kind of understand why he's got the philosophy he does. Is very like Stain-esque.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
feel about
Yeah.
him, where it's this kind of idea. It's not necessarily that he hates heroes, because he in his own right is a hero, especially to this boy throughout the entire that entire arc. It's more that he just can't. He doesn't like the culture. You know what I mean? He just doesn't like the culture and who these guys make themselves out to be, and you're big and bad because nobody's challenged you yet.
Right.
I'ma challenge you, kind of thing like that or whatever. And so I love that. I also really love the Bat guy from there.
I like
One
his
Punch Man
fight.
too.
The bad guy?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bat guy.
Silver Bat. I think that's his name.
Something. I don't know. I know
I
no
don't remember
one's
that guy.
names.
He has the.
I have the manga, and I
He has
don't
the
know anyone's
aluminum bat.
names.
Oh, that guy. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
I thought you meant
yeah.
like
I
an
think it's
actual
called,
bat.
No,
Like-
no. I love his fights.
Okay,
too.
yeah, he's hilarious too.
So-
He's the real Batman.
Yeah.
But
Get out of my house. No, so yeah, all of his fights, but
Yeah,
that fight in
good choice.
particular, I got feels. Maybe I'm choosing instead of choosing the bloodiest fights, I'm choosing the fights that, made my heart bleed. I'm sorry, what's
Who
yours?
needs to get out? Who needs to get out?
What's your fight?
What did she say? What did she say?
Well, when your heart cries, doesn't it? Isn't that just blood leaking out?
Bro, no, you need to see a health professional.
Yeah.
What's
Just good.
going on? That's internal bleeding.
Anyway.
That's
All
not-
right, that's not a joke.
Man.
What's your next fight, sir? Malcolm,
I'm thinking.
you're thinking.
Where we at with time, by the way?
Oh, what about an hour?
Okay, sweet.
Noise.
Oh, I thought we ran longer than that. Look at
No,
us.
maybe 5 minutes
Learning.
over, if that.
Okay.
I'm gonna just stick to Naruto, just because.
I do have a new.
There's a lot of them. So yeah.
Madara versus the
versus everybody.
versus the
Versus
the
the,
new
ninja, the ninja
Golly.
world.
man.
Oh my god.
Just
Oh no, that's
That's
you
one
know
of
what's
my-
funny? I've not watched the show all the way through, and I've seen this scene
Yeah,
over a dozen times.
Man,
Without a
Because
doubt.
a good
that
ass
scene
fight.
is so
because it
cool.
claps everybody.
Man,
Shit.
he just runs
All
head
these-
on
all
into like
these regular ass ninjas. I'm like, y'all.
20,000 people.
I'm like, come on, y'all. Like y'all thought. Like
and like it was like I mean, for lack of a better, real fighting. Like
Yeah,
they showed
right.
up close.
Yeah.
He's blocking, dodging.
Oh, and you
He's
see
using
his
his
eyes.
environment.
Yeah, that was
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
I was like,
my
okay, that's
favorite
how
part-
that ability's
My
supposed
Yeah,
to
favorite
work.
part,
right,
he,
exactly.
he catches the paper bomb.
Yeah, sticks it on the other dude.
Sticks on the guy, kicks him into the crowd.
Just
Oh,
disrespectful,
man.
bro. Yeah,
That
that was a
fight's
good ass
so
fight
good.
too.
Yeah.
That is good.
That whole sequence and then
Crazy.
goes right into like the 5 Kage fight.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
That whole
five
sequence
Kage
is
fight.
is
Yes.
great.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm debating because I have one that I'm thinking of. It
Mm.
hasn't happened in the anime yet because it's in the manga, but it will be epic when
For
it does
One Piece?
happen. No, it's
Oh.
for Black Clover.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
So
We're the only people that
Yeah, right.
care.
You just
so
gotta catch up on everything, Lance.
yeah, right.
All I'm saying
So-
is we have 29 subscribers on YouTube. That's all I want to say.
Okay, back to my so
Those people matter, Chris.
I know they do.
so
they do. We love
it's in the current like the Spade Kingdom art where they're currently at.
y'all. Mm.
So it just recently happened. The most powerful of the Spade Kingdom guys, the
Mhm.
one that's like has a little
The
crown when he goes
gold
into demon
things?
mode.
Not him.
No, not him, the
no.
other guy. Yeah, the other
I
guy.
know what you're talking about.
So the one that's like the most powerful of the 5 or whatever, or 7 or
Yeah.
however many there are. So he actually fights Magna. And you know who Magna is, right?
Yes,
You know
I
what I'm talking
do.
about? Yeah. Yes. So
Oh, now
it's
okay. I
it's
gotta
crazy
catch up.
because okay, so the fight is great. It's gonna be great when it's animated.
Mm.
If it gets animated.
My poor broken heart.
Because it's crazy. So Magna, obviously you have this period where they've been preparing for the Spade Kingdom's invasion
Yeah.
for like however long it is.
He became OP in that amount of time.
Yes and no. So he develops an ability that allows him to, he calls it, I think it's called like the Chain of Destiny or something like that, or Chain of Death or something like that. Where basically what it does is he claps his chain on your wrist, and basically it's like the soul chain. I'm trying to think what show that was from, where like if you broke it, you died.
Bleach.
Oh,
Yeah, was it Bleach? Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
So like it's the soul link. So basically what it does is it levels the power level between the two people that are linked to the chain. And so you're fighting on equal terms, no matter the difference in power levels.
That's
so
kinda
Magna,
cool ability.
yeah.
That's a
So
really
Yeah.
cool
Magna, who is one of
That's
like the joke characters for most of the show,
Yeah.
like
Which
go,
he resents.
yeah, he does. He like, but he comes back and he develops this ability with the help of a couple other people.
Mm.
So he develops this ability and like collapse this dude. Because at the end of the day, he's got the hardest head in the group, despite the fact that he's not one of the strongest members.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like the most determined to win out of all of them, other than Asta.
Mm.
And so he just like does not give up. And then like the demon guy's like, well, I can just keep regenerating indefinitely. And he's like, well, I'm gonna keep beating you forever then.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give up. 'Cause
Yeah,
if I
exactly.
can't fight back.
No, but it's such a
They're
good
gonna
fight,
fight
dude. It's
for a
crazy
long
because
ass
yeah,
time.
it was like one of the characters that you would not expect beating the dude
Yeah.
that nobody else could touch.
Wow.
So it was amazing.
That's
amazing.
good. That's
Yeah.
good shit.
Yeah.
You don't
I
have
got my
more?
last one for the night, and this will be our last round, like drinks or something.
Are we going all the way around?
We don't have to if you don't want to, but I
have like
wanted
12
to talk
more.
about another AOT classic, which is Levi versus the Beast Titan.
Ah,
Which iteration?
Which-
The first one?
that's
Right,
so
oh, right.
good. The
Uh,
first. Oh, the first.
The first one, only because like, so all hell breaks loose. The scouts everybody toe up. Everybody,
right.
and the Beast Titan's feeling good about himself.
Yeah.
It was a really good plan. It was a really good plan
Yeah.
to overrun, the city, to kill all the scouts.
Can't believe
Yeah.
everything.
All of them had like
Horses.
a lot of sacrifices were made.
Yeah.
And so he's walking away. Oh, it's sweet. It is sweet. It's not sweet. Levi, aka
So traumatized.
Yeah, he was. He just started seeing the Titans fall around him. He was like, wait a minute, what?
Oh,
Yo.
my God.
Levi.
He said, "I'm gonna get to your ass."
Yeah,
What's right? What is
One
he?
of these
He said he's the
motherfuckers
he's Liam Neeson. That's what it is.
Yeah.
He is.
I will
He
find
is
you and I
like,
will kill you. Yeah.
I have a certain set of skills.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, right.
I will find you and I will kill. That's what he did. I appreciated the fight so much just because. I mean, we knew Levi was cold, but that was just the first time you kind of see him 1v1 in a way that's like, oh, this dude is scary. But I appreciated that fight.
That's a good fight. There's so many more good ones, and I'm trying to pick one to be my last one. I think I'm gonna hop on the Naruto train now. And I want to mention like 5. Which one do I gotta choose? I'm stuck between 2
Just saying both.
fights right now. Can I say both? Lance, is that okay?
One.
You've used up all your goodwill with Lance.
So I'll pick.
Great.
Shit. Damn it. I'll pick the Rock Lee versus Gar fight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Rock Lee
Classic.
versus Gar fight is a classic. It is so heartfelt, especially because Lee seems like a bitch nigga until this moment. I don't care what anybody says. And
Lee out there simping.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, right. Exactly.
over.
Yeah, right.
And then Gaara is like the badass, right? He's
Yeah.
the badass. Everybody's like, oh man, this little
The child
psychopathic
prodigy,
kid gonna
right.
murk everybody.
I mean, he would have.
And then
Right.
look what happens. He loses his little sand situation and becomes the bitch of the Naruto universe. So, but this whole arc is his last time being badass, honestly. So live it up. This fight, though, is so good because Lee shocks the shit out of everybody. Like, nobody knows that he's coming with that. And they're like, take off his waist. What them little ass things go? And it's like, oh, shit. And then he starts opening up his gates and throwing hands. And they're like, nobody's been able to do that shit. So, yeah. That fight was just like shock after shock. You'd be like, oh, shit, Lee, what? Oh shit, Lee, what? And then it ends in the most horrific way possible.
Right.
And then I think what's nice about it is the author builds it up in such a good way because you are supposed to hate Gaara during this. And you kind of like know that he's like a crazy person, but you don't hate him yet. After this fight, you hate him.
Yeah.
Like he sets that up so beautifully. And it's like he not only does he set up like the potential of Lee and him being kind of this like cooler character than he was initially supposed to be, but it also perfectly sets up the next like the next part of that arc where you're really supposed to see Gaara as like a super villain.
Yeah. You know what, low-key, my best part of that whole fight is when Mike guy jumps in and just brushes away his sand attack.
Yeah.
Just say
It's like this. I'm gonna quietly be OP as fuck.
Because
Because that was the
anytime-
other. That was the other one.
this
I
nigga
almost
cold
said.
too.
The other one I almost said was Madara versus
Oh yeah,
my guy because
Yeah.
that fight.
I just watched that today.
Yeah.
That and him versus Kisame too.
Yeah.
Shit.
He beat the brakes off of Kisame. He
Yeah.
thought it was sweet.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Turn him into shark meat, bro.
Shark bait, hoo ha ha.
That's what.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I won't mention anymore because I did sneak that one in there. I didn't mean to. It came up.
Man. I'm trying to avoid saying any Hunter x Hunter fights.
You're gonna be on
So
Lance's
I'm
kill
trying-
list later too.
It's fine. It's
so I'm
fine.
trying
It's
to
cool.
think.
He's writing your name down the
I'm
death
trying
note.
to think. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of something else. You know what? Let's go. No, skip it. Hunter x Hunter. All right. the Gon Hisoka fight.
Oh yeah.
in the tournament.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
gotta-
actually where I'm at.
Okay.
You are
So
okay.
I'll be there either way.
Did they
So,
fight yet?
They're about to,
Okay,
They're
yeah.
about to.
That
Yeah.
fight is amazing.
because they're in the hunt, and so
Yeah.
You said which part? Hold on, what?
No.
Oh,
He's
no,
talking
you're not
about
there
he's
yet.
not there yet.
Yeah, you're
I'm
not there yet.
yet.
Nope.
Go ahead, keep talking about it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Bro, Lance's whole night is ruined. His
Yeah.
whole night. He's like, I've been watching this, and now I can't even watch it anymore because y'all done spoiled it.
Do y'all get spoiled by spoilers like that?
I
Where you don't
usually-
even want to watch it anymore?
I'm
You
not
know
like
what?
that, no.
You know what did get me? The first episode of WandaVision when it
Mm.
first came out.
What?
What you mean?
WandaVision.
What do you mean?
Because
How was it
people were
spoiled?
spoiling it.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
And then the problem is that it aired like 12 a.m. Friday.
yeah.
So people, as soon as they watched it, they talk about it all throughout Friday. It won't
Yeah.
even let it get to Saturday.
Which is
No scruples.
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, but not usually not anime.
This is
it's anime,
Bleeding
it's-
ass internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways,
I think
But
go ahead, sorry.
what you're about to watch ties into that fight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
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 He's watching the fights as we talk about them. So he's
Yeah.
spoiling
Well, this
himself
is
right
what
now.
this is what Hakeem used to do. So
Yeah.
right.
Figure
Exactly.
might
So
as well
now,
have the fights on the
so
screen.
you go.
Yeah.
Right.
He's watching it. You can't spoil it anymore.
Oh. But it was animated really well. Like the
Yes.
pacing of it was like
Yeah.
perfect.
hmm
Like the pacing of the fight was perfect, and like Gon was putting in so much effort,
Yes.
so much effort,
Yeah.
much effort, and
He
trying
was.
little tricks and stuff. And then Hisoka was like, "Okay," then just started playing around.
Yeah.
with him.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
That's a good
So
ass.
and then Gon finally gets an accomplishment done.
Yeah.
And
That was
it
don't
felt
spoil
so-
that. Don't spoil that.
Felt so satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody in the arena knew what was going on. Like, why they just stop?
Right.
And
Right.
it's like, okay, yeah, gone to level up a little bit.
That's funny.
I love to that at all of Gon's fights in there where he's learning
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he's like testing out different things.
That's
Like when
actually
he's
scary too. by the
yeah,
way.
right.
You're like,
But
wait, why
what you
should
remember
this matter?
the spinning top
Oh.
guy?
Yeah.
That fight
Yeah.
yeah,
when he tries out what he tries out in that fight, and you're like, this nigga is crazy,
yeah,
and everybody else is like, this nigga is crazy.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
funny.
but the way he learns and the way he adapts to what he's doing, it makes you really start to understand, like, oh no, like we see Killua as like the OP kid type of thing, but it's
Yeah.
like Gon is really, you know what I mean? Like he's really like a genius at what he's doing.
But he's willing to
Try
risk.
everything. Yeah.
That was the thing. Killer was not
Killa's-
a risk
yeah.
taker.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Gon is
true.
willing to risk something.
Risk it all.
Yeah, to test his theories.
Yeah. Yeah.
funny.
So
Lance.
Yeah. It's great. No, it's great. Awesome.
The world blows up
You got
at
any
the
more?
end.
Yeah, I got one more. And it's another manga one, but it does have an anime. So I just don't know how far the anime is. So Kingdom. Kingdom is a popular anime right now. The manga is amazing. For those that aren't familiar, it's that one that's like set in like the warring kingdoms period in
Yeah.
China.
Yeah. You mentioned this in
Yeah, I've
another
mentioned
one,
it
right?
before. So one of the best fights in that story takes place between Shin, who's the main character, obviously,
Mhm.
and Hoken, who is one of the generals of, I'm trying to think what country.
You
he
said
was
Hulk
from.
Hogan?
No, no.
Okay.
Is Hoken, like Houken, Hoken.
Okay. Gotcha.
So he fights him, and he's like this kind of like god of war character, where he's like doesn't really have. He has like a national affiliation in the story, but like
Yeah.
he's kind of like a lone ranger, and they just bring him out when they're having a problem with somebody, because he's like one of those guys that like trains in the mountains by himself, and then they bring him out to like fight in like the really hard battles. So he's OP as hell.
Mm.
So Shin fights him, and he actually fights him, I think, twice. The first time he gets clapped, and then he gets saved by somebody else. And then he's like, I got your ass next time. And he does. And he does in fact get his ass the next time.
Yes.
Those are always great.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's crazy though, because that was like what put him on the map. Because, you know, his goal, his dream is to be like one of these great generals and like help conquer China.
Right.
And so up until that point, he was like some small time officer, you know, who had like a limited amount of men, who was just like in somebody else's unit.
Right.
And then after that fight, he gets promoted because they're like, oh, Shin, he's about it. And so he gets promoted. He gets his own unit.
That's
like
dope.
he becomes like one of the dudes at that point. So like that's a fantastic fight. And like
part of Malcolm's squad.
yeah, he's part of that nigga squad. Yeah.
Hashtag team that
David
nigga.
and Goliath. Yeah.
Right.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That nigga.
Right.
Squad.
And with that,
Squad with a W.
I have 1,000 animes to catch up to, so I don't get spoiled again.
Yeah.
So and with that, so let us know in the comments, in the Facebook group, in the Discords. What are your favorite anime fights? Obviously, we probably touched on some of them. If you want to touch and agree, you put prayer hands in the comments or whatever, saying amen. But if you have some ones that maybe we weren't able to cover because it's so many, let us know. And we would love to be able to interact and like talk about it in the next episode.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know the slogan: stay colorful, peace.